and vegetable are one of Uganda's main exports. Quite easy to grow because of a favorable geographical climate and fertile soil. With a readily available market, both local and abroad, this has seen many farmers engage in fresh produce. Fresh produce farming is well known in Uganda for the production of vegetables like chili, tomatoes, green pepper, avocados to crops like potatoes and bananas. Uganda has been contributing about 30% of the required fresh produce in the available market, competing with countries like Italy and Spain. The COVID era, however, creates an impediment to the business from transport, access to markets, and cold chain supply for keeping the vegetables fresh. In turn, a lot of produce is bound to get stuck in the gardens, but equally provides opportunities for a strategically set farmer. Tonight, on Seeds of Gold, the impacts and opportunities of COVID on fresh produce. Coming up on Seeds of Gold.
The single factor that has made our business thrive is the quality of our products. The chilies are the best in the world. The matoke are the best in the world. The sweet potato is the darling of the market. But this is the time to invest.
James Kanyige is a fresh produce farmer dealing in fruits and vegetables. His main business is to produce and export for mass consumption, targeting markets here and overseas. Under the company KK Produce, he works with over 15 products in fruits and vegetables, which he generally exports to the European market as the biggest consumer. This is his story.
In 1997, I started working with a company called Uganda Fish Packers. We are packing fish where I gained experience in exports. I became export manager and I was dealing with the European Union at that time, exporting fish. In 2000, I left. I teamed up with another white man to start doing air cargo, of which we did, and then in our way we also found that fruits and vegetables is what we can trade in, because the European Union, they were buyers who wanted it. So in 2001 September is when we started, and then by 2002 February we had also introduced fruits and vegetables, which included matoke, chilies, sweet potatoes, and name it. And then we built the company called Icemark from 2000 to 2011, when I left and I formed my own alone, KK Foods, so KK Fresh Exporters. And I started exporting food into European Union mainly for 5 years. After 5 years, we had to introduce countries like Canada, US, and the Middle East, so that we don't put our eggs in one basket. Up to date, we are still doing this.
KK is not just an exporter, he is equally involved in farming, a skill he adapted after years of mastering the business. He recognizes quality as the unique selling factor for Uganda's produce.
As a farmer, I started farming in Ruwero district, in Busika, near Zirobwe, where I am farming at 100 acres of land, doing the chilies, the sweet potato, sugarcane. All what we produce is for export. And in the last 2 months, from October to December, we started another farm in Kakumiro district, where we are farming at 200 acres. We just started. We have now already 70 workers there. Under production, we are producing mainly peppers, chilies, which we want to do it our own. But in building the company, I also had to build what we call a grower scheme, to have farmers, the small-scale farmers, to grow for us. At one time, we had reached 10,000 farmers across Uganda, moving all over 45 districts, trying to have people produce for us because they are small plots, small farmers, and the market we couldn't meet. So we decided to also embrace or bring in the small farmers holders, farmers who will produce for our export, which actually has been and is the basis of the company. We have been growing steadily with smallholder farmers, which at a later stage I will show you what is its benefit or its disadvantages. But that's how we built the export. The export industry is big, the horticulture industry is big, because 10,000 farmers, when you calculate the movement of us in 45 districts, it's quite a big routine that I do on weekly basis, on daily basis. I leave this home every morning to go to the office to coordinate the outgrowers through our agronomists. We have over 15 agronomists who are at bachelor level across Uganda, trying to make sure the farmers produce standard products for European Union, because the European Union has a standard that we must meet in order to export. So it has been a development from 1 kilo to 100 tons in a week. It has been moving, and steadily we will need to have maybe a week 100 tons so that consistently. And our market, what they demand from us is 5 million kilos quality taste, because of our soil and our climate has made our product. The chilies are the best in the world. The matoka are the best in the world. The sweet potato is a darling of the market. I've traveled to make sure compare our own products and the other products. We are even into the market in London, even in Germany. We have put these things to test. We have cooked our bananas and North American bananas. We have cooked our sweet potatoes, comparing to Mexican and the Ghana and the other country. We have compared them. I have been at that level where I try to compare why are the people in Europe looking at our products. But I got the answer that our products were very good and they were organic. The others, they use even chemicals. They use a lot of fertilizers to produce this produce.
Fresh produce can be a tricky business because it requires the producer to ensure that the products reach the desired market while still fresh. One of the biggest challenges of maintaining fresh produce is a reliable cold chain. This is a system of uninterrupted series of refrigeration, storage and distribution with effective equipment and logistics to ensure a desired low temperature range. The lack of a cold chain system, coupled with restricted movements in the COVID times, has heavily impacted this business and equally provides future opportunities in new markets. Coming up,
I think it has delivered a big blow to our industry. Okay, it's the whole economy, but for us, it has delivered a big blow and a big one. We are thinking, comparating of what we are going to do, because all our systems are almost at standstill, I may say shut down. Why? Because the movement of the 45 districts I'm telling you, with the farmers I've told you in the beginning, reaching them without a proper transport, without a proper guidance of movement, it's no way. You can reach the few ones, and the big ones you can't reach them. Now, the COVID-19 wants to take us back to the few individuals who can have a border, go to a garden you don't know its chemical usage regime, you don't have extension workers there, you don't even know which chemicals they used, and then he delivers to you and off you take to the market.
onset of COVID-19, the production and export of fresh produce is affected, right from the farmers' inability to access extension services to the difficulty in transporting the goods across markets without compromising the quality, which is Uganda's unique selling factor. The impacts of COVID-19 to a horticulture producer.
COVID-19 came and may not go tomorrow because we don't know. And the business has to continue. For example, the cargo plane they have said should come. They have now doubled the freight. What we are paying $1.30, they are now asking for $2.60. Increase of that magnitude cannot happen. What you have been selling for maybe $3, you cannot sell it for $20. The market will not take it. I think it has delivered a big blow to our industry. Okay, it is the whole economy, but for us, it has delivered a big blow and a big one. We are thinking, comparating of what we are going to do, because all our systems are almost at standstill, I may say shut down. Why? Because the movement of the 45 districts I'm telling you, with the farmers I've told you in the beginning, reaching them without a proper transport, without a proper guidance of movement, it's no way. You can reach the few ones, and the big ones you can't reach them. Now, the COVID-19 wants to take us back to the few individuals who can have a border, go to a garden you don't know its chemical usage regime, you don't have extension workers there, you don't even know which chemicals they used, and then he delivers to you and off you take to the market. From the cold chain, we cannot do now cold chain because we had started the cold chain. Everything stopped. We had, as a company, we had an investment capital to be got in UDB, Uganda Development Bank. Because COVID-19 came, it stopped. So our cold chain stopped. Our production system stopped because there is no way you can produce without being there. Those who were doing something, they have seen the effect of COVID-19. So it is affecting completely from the production level, cold chain level, transport level, because we cannot transport our goods. Even freight at the airport for export into space has been reduced.
Irrespective of the challenges at hand, James cites the opportunities amidst the crisis, the market ahead.
After COVID-19, even when COVID-19 is there, because business has to happen, either today or tomorrow, it will have to open. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. I know now we are being affected by foreign trucks, which are not ours. Those ones, they should put a system and they see. Uganda has to operate out of Entebbe to deliver cargo in the market. But after COVID-19, the countries that we have been competing with have had terrible consequences of COVID-19. This is our hope. We are somewhere thinking so hard, but now there is a hope. There is hope for business. Italy, the biggest competitor of this country, and Spain, because for them somehow they received some good right. Even there are mosquitoes there. When I went to Milan, trying to see how the farmers, I've gone even to Italy to study their system of how they do farming, because I expect to look for money. Put the same system of how they earn, how they get a lot of tonnage from a small area of production. So I've been there in Italy. But now all those production areas have been affected by COVID-19. Terribly and big time. So you may not see the 15 million kilos between July and December. You may not see it. It should come from here. But this is a time to invest because the Italian and Spain, they start planting from March. Then their products are ready in July. Now they have not done it. This is our time. The disease is a bad one, but it has brought some also advantages. It has hit hard where the production, those who have been competing with us in the market, wherever we want to sell in August, September, October, they say, no, there is too much Italian, there is too much Spanish chilies. Now it is not going to be there.
To produce quality fruits and vegetables, many farmers need extension services to avert pests and diseases, access to fertilizers, and advisory services. The COVID era complicates this flow. However, it does not stop the ability to perform alternative ways to manage one's farm, as Solomon, an agronomist, recommends.
Farmers, wherever you are, farming activities must continue, food production must continue, because food is still very so much needed. So looking at the situation in which we are, where most farmers are unable to access farm inputs, maybe because the money is unavailable, or because transportation from the farm to where we can get the inputs is restricted, we must find a way to ensure that our gardens still survive and that we are able to harvest food that will be able to feed us even after the pandemic is gone. So there are so many things that can be done, and it's only times like these that then we begin to focus on what we've been preaching earlier, what we call integrated pest management. There's a lot that we can do on farm that can help our crops thrive and survive, at least to ensure that you will harvest them and have food. So it all starts by understanding that a pest or a disease will thrive in an environment that is favorable. It will attack a crop that is susceptible to it, and this will all happen if the pest in question is virulent enough or is strong enough to attack your crop. So the integrated pest management uses different mechanisms that each of the mechanisms contributes to the prevention or to the control, to the management of the disease overall. So they are what we call the cultural control mechanisms, which the things that we do usually, the pruning, there's what they call sanitation, the cleaning of the garden, ensuring that you don't let things that may cause problems lie around the garden. There are biological practices which involve the use or the taking advantage of the natural enemies, the things that exist in nature that are able to help you control. If it's an insect pest on a crop, maybe like an aphid, then you know the ladybird beetles could help. Right now, it's important to think about organic fertilizer, manures that are able to increase organic matter content in the soil, to enhance soil health that will enable your crop perform very well. All these are very key aspects of farming appropriately during this situation. So with the pathogens or with the disease-causing agents that will come from the soil, what is very important is mulching. Mulching is a use of straw or dry grass to cover the soil, one, to maintain soil moisture, but also there are pathogens, the disease-causing agents that will come from the soil and jump right up to the leaves of your crop, to the stems of your crop, and cause disease. So once you mulch, the mulch creates a barrier that prevents the pathogens from easily finding their way to your crop. That is one. Two, the disease-causing agents, like mentioned earlier, exist within the environment. So they are coming from somewhere, and then they have a starting point where they attack your crop. As part of integrated pest management, it is critical to ensure that you reduce the areas or the environment that could enhance the development of disease. So if you have what we call agents or things that will keep the disease within reservoirs, things that will keep the disease within your crop. It could be weeds that could keep the pathogen, but when your crop is established, the pathogen will jump from the weeds right to your crop. So we need to remove things like the weeds. We need to create a favorable environment. Running first to sanitation, if you realize your crop is getting infected already, we need to take off the parts that are diseased, because if you look at the spectrum of the different things that cause diseases in our crops, some of those are categorized as fungi. So the fungi cause the greatest problems in our crops. Of course, we have bacteria, we have viruses, and so many other things. So, but the fungi cause the biggest problems. 80% of the diseases that affect our crops are caused by fungi. How the fungi spread or move to our crops is through what we call spores. So spores are like small powder-like agents that can fly in the air, that can be swept by by wind, that can be splashed by water. So once they lodge onto a leaf, then they begin to develop on the leaf and they cause disease. Removing the leaf from your crop ensures that you have taken away something from which disease will progress. And this is sanitation. So you realize sometimes you have yellowing leaves under your crop, if it's peppers, if it's your tomatoes, or any other crop. So taking away the leaves as a way of pruning is important to ensure that you are preventing subsequent disease spread. Crops like bananas at the moment, where finding the bananas, making sure that your bananas find their way into a market, and that market has ready demand that will pick the bananas right away, is very tricky. Even transportation alone is tricky. You want to harvest your bananas today and the truck picks them up in the evening, which may not be possible because now all trucks are busy carrying so many other goods. So with crops like bananas or even any other crop, one of the best natural ways of preservation is not to harvest until you either going to consume, or that transportation is pretty much ready, or you're sure transportation will be available for your crop. So bananas could stay in your garden once they are ready for possibly a month without ripening, or until they ripen, and within that period you probably should have been able to find transport. So leave the crops in the garden until you're able to transport them, be it cabbages, be it carrots, even peppers. Even apart from tomatoes, when they are ready they need to be picked up.
With the current status quo, does horticulture still count as a profitable venture? James replies.
Of course, horticulture we supply twice a week, meaning we earn twice, almost we earn daily. And of course, when you compare our horticulture and the trees or any other horticulture, I would think these are perishables, and perishables are consumed on a daily basis, and that's why it has the best. That's why we as a company, or me as James, I like it, because at the end of the day in, day out, there's an income. But the only problem we have is that the supply chains are not there. Creating them requires billions of shillings that as a company we don't have. And of course we are in Africa, where getting an investment money can take you 2 years to arrive to your company. It's really a big challenge. But if you compare horticulture industry with any other industry, they don't even come across if you invest in it. But if you don't invest in it, then there are a lot of losses. It needs an investment, and it gives you money immediately, because any crop, any product that we export takes only 100 days to start export. 100 days, when even the tree you planted has not even stabilized in the soil, we are already delivering produce in the market and already earning money. So I can say million % this advantage it has against the planting trees and going into horticulture.
The plight of horticulture in the COVID times presents new challenges, but equally creates an opportunistic future in the markets where other competing countries may not thrive.